Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, get over a story titled, She Told Me Tonight That She Cheated Back in March. And guys, this story is about a guy who's 28 years old, his wife's 27. They got married way too young at 24 and 23 years old, way too young for the 2020s or the 20-teens. And long story short, no surprise, he finds out that she cheated on him. He obviously saw a lot of suspicious behavior. I don't think she was very enthusiastic in the bedroom. I think the sex slowed down dramatically. And he confronted her on this, and yes, he found out she was cheating. And instead of acting like a lot of guys do, like a total crybaby or a BIT, no, he's done with her. It's over with. And I thought it was a good one to go over here to show you what you got to do in these situations. And of course, you don't get married super young. You need to spend years getting to know them. Because it sounds like here, they weren't together that long before they got married, which is insane. Now, I do recall now, just thinking about it, they're both religious. And so I think the religion had an impact on this, why they got married young and all that. And it goes to show you that, with respect to the religious folks that watch this, I get you have your faith, but still, regardless, you have to spend a lot of time getting to know someone, or to the best you can, before you get together with them, or problems can arise. And it's a problem when you rush into things. So it starts off, says here, me, a 28-year-old male, and my wife, we married 4 years ago this May. Together 4.5 years. No kids, 2 dogs, joint ownership of mortgage house. Tonight my wife engaged me in a conversation that was kind of a follow-up to one we had a couple weeks ago, wherein I told her that I've been struggling for a while with feelings of not having my S-word needs met. That conversation that went well, and we agreed to work on things. So, in other words, they weren't sleeping together. Or at least sleeping together enough to make him feel satisfied. And he's got a right to have an issue with that. He absolutely does. Tonight she said that she's been thinking about that, and said that she just feels like she can't give me what I need. When we married, we said the D word would never be in our vocabulary. We're both Christian and truly believed in living the God-instructed ways of being married. Well, maybe you believed in that, but she sure as hell through her actions did not believe in that. But she said she thinks we both deserve to be happy in this life, as we're both young and obviously not happy now. Translation, I want a divorce. Translation, I'm not happy with you. And also translation that I've been getting my needs met someplace else. We've seen an employee assistance program counselor before, but I realized that wasn't in the in-depth level of marriage counseling we obviously now needed. And I stated that, and she said that we should first try real counseling like that to make sure we really feel the way we think we are feeling. So already they've had a history of having to go to counselors for problems. This is what happens when you rush into a marriage too soon and not spending a lot of time getting to know each other. She's been seeing a therapist on her own for issues from her past with abandonment and neglect by her mom. And I can't remember the details of the conversation here because this is where it happened, but she brought up her counseling and said, back in March, I was feeling something and I slept with another guy. She was feeling something. That's her reason. That night I told you I was going bowling with my friend from work, the next town over, but I went to see him. It was a mistake. Classic line from the Hobag Handbook, Chapter 2. It was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. It was a well-planned out thing. She kind of went on with the original gist of the conversation for a minute while I had my head between my hands trying to register what I just heard. It was as if the fact that she cheated on me was nonchalant, matter of fact. I said, you cheated on me, and she said yes. I said, you had SCX with another man, and she said yes. I asked who, and she said it was a person from her childhood in the town that she knew, and she'd been talking to him for a couple weeks beforehand, and then made their plans and went up. Yeah, back to the whole it was a mistake. This was a very well planned and thought out mistake. Absolutely, she knew what she was doing. Truth is, she wanted to sabotage things. She didn't give a shit. She said again that it was a mistake, and this is when I got angry. Well, good for you. I growled. Do not say it was an effing mistake. You cheated on me. You knew what you were doing. She was speechless, and I said, I can't be here tonight. And I grabbed my keys and came to my best friend's house, and I've been here ever since, riding the waves of emotions hitting me and trying to comprehend this. That sucks, because this guy clearly was trying to make the marriage work and not her. She went to an old buddy, and I have a very hard time believing this so-called Christian, godly woman here, this was her first cheating rodeo. I guarantee you there was a history of this. And this is who she is. When her needs aren't being met and she's unhappy, she'll step out. That's how people like this resolve, they handle their problems. And if he'd been with her for a long time before they got married, maybe he would have discovered this about her. But then again, she could have been a master at hiding it. That's possible too. And by the way, he shouldn't have left. He should have sent her ass packing. As it turns out, she was pregnant in August and had a miscarriage in October. I was so shaken with fury, I immediately worried the child wasn't mine. But she said she used a condom and had period since. And I soon thought critically about the fact that she was only at 8 weeks when she miscarried. I'm sorry about the miscarriage, man. That's terrible for anybody, but you can't believe her word at this point, whether that was somebody else's child. All that's to say, we've been going through the trauma of that too. But we celebrated her pregnancy after she had cheated. She lived that lie with me. Sorry for the long whine. Right now, I just need support on these initial trauma stages and how to handle my emotions. He also says here, I always wonder what it would feel like to write one of these edits, and wow, this really blew up. But for real, it did. All the replies are getting overwhelming, and try to engage with them all. But I know I'm reading everything, and I appreciate the shit out of everything. I'm sitting in the doctor's office right now waiting for my STD test. Smart, dude. Very smart. The lawyer consultation is scheduled through the rest of the week. Therapy scheduled ASAP this Friday. Tonight when she comes home, she'll hear that I never should have been the one to leave the house last night, and she can pack up her stuff and vacate the premises for the time being. And I don't care where it ain't my problem. Good. Take your power back, dude. And good for you, the doctor, and going to see the lawyer. There's no point dragging this out any longer. Now for his update. He says here, I swear every day I thought about making this post, but so much has been going on. Sorry in advance for mobile formatting. There's a lot of details. I'm going to be as concise as possible. The following day, she and I talked, and I know it's against the no contact advice. I asked to see her phone to see her text messages, evidence if she was sleeping with anyone else. She's still adamant about the one guy the one time. Well, at this point, you can't trust what she has to say. In looking through those texts, I found that text thread between her and my work partner, a 21-year-old female, whom she'd become good friends with since we started working together. Well, isn't that interesting? Now we can add a young woman into the mix. I thought my partner and I got along great. We laughed our asses off every shift, did good work together on our patients and whatnot, and just jived well. In the text thread, my wife was telling my partner of her intentions to divorce me, and my partner was cheering her on and supporting her. All this time he has his partner. He's an EMT, I believe. And and it seemed like they're buddies and all that. Total act. She's cheering the wife on, egging the wife on to divorce him, and obviously the cheating and all that. What a piece of garbage. As well as bad-mouthing me as a partner, saying she pretty much hated everything about me. I'm willing to bet you this partner of his swings for the bats for the other team and probably is hoping to lure in the wife. So now it's 2 betrayals. I've since talked to my management, and the 2 of us no longer work together, and she's been avoiding me like the plague at work. Well, she should. He can use this actually to maybe try to complain to management that she aided in breaking up the family and the divorce, whatever the terminology is for that. I mentioned to my wife that the night before she dropped the cheating bomb, I was starting to mention counseling for the divorce feelings. I asked if that would even be worthwhile or if it would just be a waste of time. I never really had the intention to reconcile because of the cheating, but I just wanted to know where she was. Okay, for a second I thought he actually was thinking about reconciling. He just wanted to see what she had to say. It seems like you emotionally divorced me a long time ago, and it seems like counseling would just be a waste of time. Or should we waste our time? And she said no. I said, okay, I'll figure out the lawyer situation. We agreed to be civil. She said she didn't want to fight. Bullshit. How many of you guys out there watching this that have been divorced? And maybe your wife or ex-wife said, I want to be civil. Let's not fight. And then okay. And the next thing you know, it's game on. She's after you, raising hell. No. Prepare for war. You want peace? Prepare for war. Get a good attorney. Get a female attorney who can understand female bullshit. And prepare yourself. It'll be worth every penny. It says here, and she said no. I said, I'll figure out the lawyer situation. We agreed to a civil thing, blah, blah, blah. She really had her tail between her legs and still does. I then told her she has till 8 o'clock that night, about 4 hours to pack up her stuff and leave. I got back at 8 p.m. and she was gone, living with her dad now. Good for you, man. Good for you for laying down the law. That's what she deserves. We're in pretty good financial standing, but not very affluent. So with the cash we both have, we would not be able to afford lawyers. So one of them I talked to with is doing something for us called ghostwriting. They'll prepare our papers and walk us through the process of taking them to court ourselves. I'm on my toes, though. As soon as she shows a sign of a fight, I'll grab the cash and get my lawyer on retainer for myself. I don't think this is going to work out. Even if he doesn't have the money, find a way. Borrow from somebody that you know is not going to hold it over you to get a good lawyer. You can't mess this up. She's been mostly agreeable, though. In negotiations, she has relinquished a lot of belongings to me. I'm alone in the house right now, getting my weekly counseling, which helps a lot. I've had boys' weekend that weekend with a good couple of buddies of mine, a couple towns up from mine. My friends and family are being so helpful and supportive. It still hurts like absolute hell, but I'm continuing to walk forward in my faith. Good for you, bro. Don't let this crush you. It's supposed to be hard. Okay, you wouldn't be human if it wasn't hard. But you know what? You're 28. You got your whole life ahead of you. Your prime's just beginning. Well, her prime's coming to an end. And let your religious faith help you make it through. That's a very important part for a lot of people. But let's also remember that you don't make the same mistake twice down the road by looking for another wife and rush into things, don't get to know her. Really take your time. On the boys' weekend, she said, it's none of my business where you're going this weekend. You can turn the location services on your phone. He says here, we always look at each other in the house and not to avoid as much as possible. And I replied, I don't need to. Like I said, I'm faithful to my vow. Anytime we met face to face, I've had 2 other people present to protect myself. So that's the end of his story. And I'm going to read some comments real quick and guys offering advice. And then he's going to add a little more piece of information here to show you I don't think it's going to be as easy as he thinks. One guy says here, you really should just go no contact with her outside of anything to do with the upcoming divorce. Aside from working out the logistics and the arrangements, there's not really much more for you to discuss with her. I agree with that. Now, he mentioned they have dogs. I hope he gets the dogs. He says, as soon as the paperwork is done and she's no longer your wife, she won't play any further part of your life, so why forestall the inevitable? Now, the guy says here, after reading your posts and comments, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that had it not been for your manipulative, lying EMT partner, your wife may not have cheated. Yes, she made the decision and you have every right to drop her like a hot rock. I would too in your shoes. But the more I read your comments, the more I think your partner was a snake in your garden trying to get your wife to bite the apple. With your wife's past traumas and mental health, it was pretty easy to manipulate her. Yeah, his partner, who he thought was his friend, was behind so much of this. But you know what? Regardless, and she's an asshole, don't get me wrong, but still, his wife's a grown-ass woman, and if that wife will take any opportunity to blame it on somebody else or her past trauma or something, guaranteed. So don't buy that crap. I know you're done with your wife, but I really think you guys need an autopsy on this marriage. You should sit down with her and ask her things that your partner told you, because I guarantee you there's more to this than the text messages. Like he's going to get a straight answer out of her. It's over. He doesn't need to spend any more time talking to his soon-to-be ex-wife than he needs to end this. They had face-to-face talks where she pushed your wife away, blah, blah, blah. Nah, it's bad advice. Don't do that. Another guy says here, why don't you inform your HR that your partner had an inappropriate emotional relationship with your wife that was ending in divorce? She would have gotten terminated on the spot if it went public that she caused the divorce of another employee. Companies don't like that kind of publicity. Probably still could get her terminated if you wanted to. Now, there's an idea. And the last one here, listen to this. This guy says here, I'm a bit worried for you that she has full access to your funds. The cash grab that you suggest has certainly crossed her mind too. It's a gamble now if things go south, which you will act first. Just as you watching her, she is watching you. Please, could I recommend that you separate assets if you haven't done so already and limit anything that could generate substantial new debts. Yeah, maybe they have credit cards together. She could rack up a whole bunch of debts and become his problem, or suddenly withdraw everything in their joint accounts. And he says here, sorry, I forgot to mention, we both already have separate checking accounts. Good. Thank the Lord he had the brains to do that. I've written checks from the joint account to be deposited in our individuals. There's just a residual amount left in the joint to cover mortgage payments and divorce costs. I've already removed her from all my credit cards and gotten credit reports. Good. Very good. She doesn't need the money from me. Her daddy is a terrible enabler and has a small fortune. He's already enabling her too. Before she deleted my family off social media, they saw her posting stuff about Dad let me have the master bedroom and a spot in the garage. What I should be really worried about is him paying for her lawyer. But that'd be to necessitate her lawyer to talk to me and not her, and I haven't had that yet. Well, prepare. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. That's great advice for life. It really is. My mother and my godfather said that all the time. But if she's got a wealthy father, he could finance a good attorney just to help his crying little girl or to stick it to you. So this is why you need to be prepared. I would be talking to a good attorney. And if you have to obviously borrow some money from friends or somebody you know is not going to hold over on you to do this, do it right. Because she could wreak havoc on you, if you will, with her father's money. And it won't be a big deal to him because he's wealthy. So I wish this guy the best. But anyhow, guys, point is, there's cheating, there's deception, all that. End it. Walk away. Don't fuck around. Don't, gotta make things better. Because he brought up the counseling only just to see what she'd say. He wasn't thinking about it. So I absolutely wish this guy the best. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below and just think about this. And also, guys, you got a good story like to share or that you found, definitely send it my way. I'll definitely cover it. Be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.